So far in this tutorial, I showed you how to interact with YouTube using People Code through REST-based integration. We displayed content from YouTube on our PeopleSoft tile using this integration. The method we adopted here is called get because we are getting information from third-party application. I received a very positive feedback on this tutorial. I appreciate each one of you for sharing your valuable feedback. Please keep those comments coming. It really drives me to come up with more interesting content. Some of you reached out to me and requested to make a video on how to implement post method. This is for you guys. Just to give you some idea what's the difference between get and post, let's consider the same example. This time, instead of requesting search information from YouTube, if you plan to post a video from PeopleSoft into YouTube, then we use post method. Whenever we want to create something new on third-party application, we use post method. Let me give you one more example. Using the data inside PeopleSoft application, if you want to create a YouTube user profile, we use post method. Don't worry, this is just a very high level overview. You'll get better idea once we start implementing it. My name is Siva Koya, your PeopleSoft guide today. Without any delay, let's get started.
When I was wondering if there are any free websites out there to play with REST APIs, I stumbled upon this website called http://bin.org and it was very helpful. Let me navigate to that website. Type HTTPS so that we are sure we are accessing a safe website. http://bin.org. Click on HTTPS methods. Today we are focusing on post method, so click on post method. In order to see the endpoint for the post method, click on try it out and then on execute. Here you can see the endpoint for our post method. Next, I'll show you how actually this API works in another free tool called Postman. Let me go ahead and open Postman. This is the look and feel of the Postman software, extensively used for API testing. As I mentioned before, I will be using the free version. Make sure you are in the API tab. Let's add a new tab. Today we are concerned about post method, so I will select post. I will copy just the endpoint from http://bin.org and paste it here in Postman software. Let's understand what exactly this API is up to. If I click on send here, as you can see, I have not yet clicked on the send button. Here you can see the response. If there is any response from this endpoint, we can see it here in the response section. So let me go ahead and click send. As soon as I click send, it's saying sending request, and here is the response from http://bin.org. First, let's check the status. As you can see here, the status is success. Code 200 means HTTP post was successful. This was the response message from http://bin.org. As you can see, it has populated some header information and also a couple of other details like from which IP address the request came from, to which URL the request came to. Basically, it is populating some information related to the request message. If you notice, the field JSON contains null value. Right now, JSON is populated as null because we did not pass any information as part of the post message. Once we pass some data along with the post message, the same data will be echoed here. That's how this post API was designed by the developer of http://bin.org. I will show you how to send data along with this post request. But before that, let me give you some context on what we are trying to accomplish here. Let's assume for a second http://bin.org belongs to a third-party web application, for example, a shopping website. Before we can do any kind of shopping, first we need to create a user account. The usual process is user needs to manually access their website, provide some input information like user ID, first name, last name, department, and then click on create account to create an account. Our company reached an exclusive agreement with this shopping website. Going forward, our PeopleSoft finance users should be able to shop on this website, which means they need an account.
Of course, we don't want each PeopleSoft user to manually access their website and create an account. Scenarios like this are when REST-based integrations come in handy to automate the creation of user accounts. And the appropriate method that should be used is post method. Luckily, they are supporting REST-based integration and they provided us the endpoint that you see here. In order to test the waters, let's populate some dummy data and trigger the endpoint to see if it's working. In this particular tool, in order to populate the data, we need to navigate to body. I will select raw. I will change the message format to JSON because it is the popular format used by web applications. In JSON, we need to input data in the form of key value pair. The information they need is user ID. I'll input some dummy value here, Siva K. In interest of time, let me paste the remaining information. Since all the required information is populated, now I will pull the trigger. I'll click send. As you can see, again, the transaction was successful. Now you can see the JSON section populated. This is a sort of confirmation from third-party web application saying that they received the message and this is the information they received. Since this API is working as expected, let's go ahead and configure this API in our PeopleSoft system. Before we jump ahead and create integration definitions, I would always prefer to validate if all integration broker components are up and running. First, let's check if integration gateway is active. In order to do that, I will navigate to People Tools, Integration Broker, Configuration, Gateways. I will search for local gateway and I will try to ping the gateway. It looks like our gateway is active. That's good. Now let me go ahead and check the service configuration. I will click on service configuration, set up target locations, and here I will confirm if REST target location is configured. It looks like it is configured. I'll click OK. Next, I will ping our local node, navigate back to Integration Broker, Nodes. I will search. I will sort based on local node. I will select the default local node. Connectors. I will ping the default local node. Success. The last test I would like to do is create an external node and point our REST endpoint URL to that external node. Later check if we are able to ping that node successfully. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll give some name to our node. I will say ext. This is an external node. I will enter some description. Since it is demo, I will use VP1. I'm creating this external node just to test the connectivity between PeopleSoft and the REST endpoint. I'm going to delete this node once the connection is successful. I will navigate to Connectors tab and select HTTP connector ID. I will populate the primary URL with our REST endpoint. Complete URL is not required, just the host name should be fine. I will save our external node and ping it. As you can see, the connection was successful. If the connection fails, maybe you need to install digital certificate. If not, you need to enable logging at integration gateway level and see what's going on. Since our connection was successful, I'll go ahead and delete our external node. Since all our integration broker components are up and running, let's go ahead and create integration definitions. Since we already went through this drill before in my previous episode, I'm not going to spend any time explaining each integration definition. The process is same for both get and post methods. Only difference is we need to configure the service operation differently for the post method. I will go ahead and create those definitions. The very first integration definition that needs to be created is document. Let me go ahead and create document. In order to create document, navigate to People Tools, Documents, Document Builder. I'll click Add a new value. I will name the package and document. I'll click Add. Looking at the API specifications, I will create all these fields that needs to be passed to the third-party application. I will go ahead and save our document. If you remember, we are not passing any root node when we passed information before. I will hide the root node. In order to do that, navigate to JSON because we'll be sending in JSON format. Hide parent object label. I'll go ahead and save it. Since we cannot directly transfer a document to a third-party application, we need to create a message and associate this document to that message. Communication between PeopleSoft and a third-party application always happens in the form of a message. So let me go ahead and associate this document to a message. In order to do that, I will navigate to People Tools, Integration Broker, Integration Setup, Messages, and I will go ahead and create a new message. Message type should be a document. I will link this message to the document I just created now. Click Add, and I will go ahead and save our message. Whenever PeopleSoft application offers or receives a service through internet from third-party application, we need to create service definition. Here in our case, we are offering a service to share our PeopleSoft user data. So I will go ahead and create service definition. In order to create service definition, navigate to People Tools, Integration Broker, Integration Setup, Services. I'll click Add a new value. This is a REST-based service. I will select REST service, give some name to our service. I will click Add, give some description. I will save our service. We are not providing the service, so I will uncheck this. The reason I said we are not providing the service because we are leveraging the endpoint of third-party software. We are not providing any endpoint to the third-party software, so we are not the provider. I will go ahead and save our service. Let's go ahead and create service operation. This is where we deviate from the get method. Instead of get, we need to select post. I will click Add. I will give some description. I will paste the endpoint URL. By the way, I will not be passing data as part of the URL because that's not the secure way. We will pass the data as part of body, not part of URL. Since system won't allow me to save service operation without URI template, I truncated the post portion and pasted in the template section. I will populate our document template here. Since REST-based integrations are always synchronous, it's mandatory to provide request and response message. Since in our specific case, data format is same for both request and response message, I will use the same message definition for both. Since the data exchange format is JSON, I will select application JSON for both request and response message and save our service operation. Now I will navigate to routing tab, and this is automatically generated by PeopleSoft for us. Notice that the REST communication happens through WADL node. I quickly open the WADL node definition. As you can see here, the default user ID is psadmin in my case. Never ever do that. Make sure this user has a very restricted access. I can't stress this enough. Otherwise, PeopleSoft system will be prone to hacking. And also make sure this user should have access to our service operation. Let me navigate back to our routing definition. Let me give security to our service operation. I'll click Save. While I'm here, let me enable logging. If we enable logging, we can review the request and response messages in Service Operation Monitor. Let me go ahead and save our changes. That's it, guys. Now we are all set to initiate the integration, guys. I will use App Engine to kick off the integration. That's why I hopped on to App Designer. Let me go ahead and create an App Engine program. I will insert People Code action. Let me save the App Engine. Okay, I'll open People Code. Remember that the People Code logic is same for both get and post methods. Since we discussed in detail about the People Code used in my previous episode, I'm not going to spend any time. I will copy the code snippet and we will go through the logic. Here is the code snippet. All I did was populated the document template and then initiated the integration using sync request method. Once I received the response from http bin.org, I'm going through the response using JSON parser and printing the values that I received. If you want to know more about JSON parser, please watch my previous episode. When I tried to save the code, I received an error message missing endif. I fixed that error. Let me go ahead and run the process. Of course, the process ran to success and you can see the message log with the response data. Let's also take a quick look at request and response message from Service Operation Monitor. The very first one is our message. We can view our request message. It looks like system is treating this as an XML message even though it is in JSON format. We can also review the response. And here we can see the response in JSON format. That's it guys for today. I really hope this episode was helpful for you. For more interesting content, don't forget to visit my channel. These videos do take a lot of time. I really appreciate if you could smash that like button if you really like the video. If not, please share your valuable feedback in the comment section below. I will do my best to fix it in my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. See you next week.